We're about halfway through 2021, depending on when you're watching this, so like every year, we like to take a look back at the first half of the year and see what good games we've gotten so far. We've got 20 games to round up, so let's get started off with number 20. We're actually going to kick this off with something a bit outside the box, something you may not have heard of. It's called Lilies, Quietus of the Nights. This released at the start of the summer, and it caught our eye because it took Steam by storm, and it's because it's a really cool Castlevania, specifically Symphony of the Night style game. It's 2D action RPG, Metroidvania goodness. So if you have been digging stuff like Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, and all those types of games, what you have here with Lilies is a really cool game with great character designs, interesting monsters and creatures, and some fun combat and progression with a good, creepy atmosphere. For something like this, what more could you ask for? There's a reason people have been really digging it, so we're saying, hey, check it out. And next over at number 19, we have Guilty Gear Strive. This is another one that released pretty close to recording this list, but so far, it seems to be another pretty awesome Guilty Gear game. Once again, it's been reworked with new animations, better graphics, and it's just looking incredible. And so far, it seems like the fighting game fans that really, really love Guilty Gear are digging this one as well. This 2D, 3D hybrid style fighter has always been pretty legendary, but it's worth trying to jump into, even if you're more of a casual fan, just because of how good it looks, how cool the characters are, and how satisfying it can be to play once you kind of learn the ropes. It's by Arc System Works, once again, who have really made a name for themselves with this franchise, obviously. There really is, honestly, nothing else like these games, so consider picking it up on all the major platforms. Now over at number 18, we have Knockout City. This one took us by surprise. A lower cost multiplayer dodgeball game put out by EA that really could have went either way, but it seems like so far, people are really loving this, and although this hasn't blown up to mainstream success like some other multiplayer games like Fortnite or anything like that, most people who have gotten their hands on this so far have walked away completely hooked, thanks to just really satisfying gameplay, a little bit of player and team and banner type customization stuff, and hopefully some good support down the line. Also, it's just a breath of fresh air. Instead of shooting dudes, crafting, or punching someone, you're playing dodgeball, and you know what? I think we need more of that. Next over at number 17, we have Subnautica Below Zero, which released this year finally out of early access as a full-fledged thing, and Subnautica fans are pretty happy. The original base Subnautica is absolutely incredible, so if you wrapped up with that and wanted more of that kind of ocean exploration survival type thing, you get it here with a nice new twist on things. This time around, you're on an Arctic planet, the ocean is colder, there's more biomes to discover, there's more stuff to build. Obviously now you gotta worry about keeping warm, and we'd say at the very least, it's just nice to see Subnautica can continue on. From its humble beginnings, a lot of the people on this team worked on original Half-Life mods back in the day, now all the way up to here Below Zero. It's really cool to see, and we're really excited to see what the next Subnautica game is, but for now, if you haven't checked this one out, you should. Now over at number 16, we got another lesser known game that is not talked about enough. It's called Loop Hero. It took the world by storm earlier this year, thanks to just some really addictive and unique roguelike gameplay and some really cool and charming art. You're in this world thrown into darkness. It's a world filled with swords, knights, mages, skeleton creatures, and it's up to you to rise to the challenge of being a hero by fighting your way through this endlessly repeating loop dungeon. As you find loot, as you upgrade your character, and engage in this sort of deck building style strategy. It is definitely a PC gamer's game for sure, but if you're looking for something like that and maybe scratch that addictive itch, definitely look into Loop Hero. Now next over at number 15, we have Little Nightmares 2, which is just an incredible adventure top to bottom. If you're looking for a horror experience like Inside, Limbo, or the original Little Nightmares 2 really lives up to the name, with you being a sole character walking across a solitary, desolate, spooky environment. You do eventually team up with another character and you go through these environments trying not to get too spooked, solving some puzzles and some light combat elements, and just lots of moments of really over-the-top tension and atmosphere and good set-piece moments that you'll remember for a long time. Little Nightmares 2 is incredibly memorable, probably even more memorable than the first game. We love it. It came out a couple months ago, but honestly, some of us just replayed it before this video because it's that good. Next at number 14, we have Scarlet Nexus, which was quite a surprise. This is an action RPG from Bandai Namco, and while at first it might just come off as
Yet another JRPG. This is a really special hybrid between fun, Devil May Cry, Platinum style, over-the-top combat, and some Japanese visual novel type stuff. The game not only looks and presents gorgeously, but the way it handles telekinesis and psychokinesis mid-combat is really creative and a ton of fun. Definitely don't overlook this one. We think this one's going to be super underrated.
Next, over at number 13, we have Chivalry II, which is a first-person medieval melee combat game where you drop into massive scale battles with up to 64 players and you just kill each other. There's really not much to this game. I mean, there is. The combat is fairly complex, but it's decent to pick up, but it can become skill-based. It's not as intense as something like Mordhau on PC. It's a little bit more accessible, but it's got really cool maps, fun weapon classes, a lot of gore, and laugh-out-loud funny moments, and it's just good passive multiplayer. If you want to turn off your brain, have a good time, and chop some dudes' heads off and burn down villages and siege upon castles, Chivalry 2 might be for you. Next, over at number 12, we have Persona 5 Strikers, which is another dip into the world established by Persona 5, so if you're in love with those characters, you get more of them here, but in a really fun, more action combat-oriented situation. People who love Persona generally have loved this game. This style of gameplay honestly translates over perfectly well to Persona, if you ask us, specifically Persona 5 with Joker and the whole gang. This one released earlier in the year on all the major platforms, including Nintendo Switch, and it's still giving me hope that maybe eventually they'll put Persona 5 on Switch. I should probably just keep dreaming. Next, over at number 11, we have Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. This was an incredibly underrated Wii U game brought over to the Nintendo Switch. Now, some people might argue the Nintendo Switch has too many ports of Wii U games, but to be fair, a lot of people didn't play those games and they missed out, and I honestly think Super Mario 3D World is probably one of the best examples of that. It's just a really solid Mario game. Not only that, you're getting the added craziness of Bowser's Fury, which shakes up the formula a little bit, gives Mario a couple more fun things to do. Really, if you have a Switch, if you haven't thought of this one already, well, now you've heard us recommend it too. Next, over at number 10, we have Hitman 3. Gotta say, IO Interactive finally really cracked the code on this new Hitman World of Assassination type style of games. It's no longer episodic. They released an entire game with a bunch of fun levels to endlessly replay because they are so meticulously designed. It's got some of the best Hitman moments since some of the classics like Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, Hitman Blood Money. If you're into those types of things, definitely consider Hitman 3. Plus, they keep adding fun stuff to do to it all the time, so the value is still there. It was one of the earlier games released this year, but do not forget it. Because next, over at number 9, we have Monster Hunter Rise, which is the new Nintendo Switch Monster Hunter game that takes some of the Monster Hunter World stuff, but kind of brings it back more classic Monster Hunter style, taking some things it learned and leaving some things behind while adding a bunch of cool new movesets and verticality emphasis, to the point where just honestly, it seems like a well-rounded, really fun Monster Hunter game. Probably one of the better ones we've seen in a while. Our only thing is we wish we had more of it. But honestly, with a complaint like that, you know, it's probably pretty good, and we're saying it, yeah. Next, over at number 8, NieR Replicant is kind of like the remake, remaster that a lot of people have been asking for, and thankfully, it is pretty damn good, and NieR fans are happy. Now, you still feel some of the cracks of the fact that it is technically an older game here and there, but ultimately, what you're getting is a good story, some satisfying combat, an incredible world and music that Yoko Taro built up. That is just, for lack of a better word, it's just really something else, man. If you liked NieR Automata, but you didn't really know where to go after that, check this out. Because next at number 7, we have It Takes Two, which the best way to describe it, and if this is a little reductive, I'm sorry, it's essentially a romantic comedy Pixar cooperative adventure. You and one other person play as a husband and wife couple on the verge of divorce as they are turned into sort of little dolls or little toys, and they have to venture through a fun, whimsical world to find their daughter and possibly save their marriage in the process. If it sounds ridiculous, it is, but it is an absolute ton of fun with a bunch of variety, and it is worth playing through with someone else. It's one of the best games of the year, for real. It's so creative. We can't sing the praises enough. Over at number 6, if you're looking for a challenge, we have Returnal. This PlayStation 5 exclusive turned out to not be exactly like what we expected, but it is still a ton of fun. It's a science fiction themed bullet hell shooter in third person, where if you have to die, you gotta start all the way back at the beginning, but thankfully you learn some things along the way. But it's up to you to collect the right weapons, hope the RNG works in your favor, become stronger, get good at the game, and blast your way through it, all while solving a very weird and very well done science fiction mystery. It's gorgeous, it's fun, it's challenging, it's satisfying. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's still absolutely worth highlighting. Because personally, all of us here, we really liked it. Now next at number 5, we have Bravely Default 2, which released for the Nintendo Switch February of this year. It is technically the third game in the series, but it's new characters, a new adventure, and it's a bunch of fun. You explore a continent with 5 different kingdoms as the 4 main characters: Adele, Elvis, Gloria, and Seth. And generally, if you're just looking for a good old-fashioned JRPG to bundle up with like a good book with your Nintendo Switch, Bravely Default 2 will definitely scratch that itch. We don't know if it totally reaches the heights of the original and its follow-up and layer, but still, it's a damn good time. Now over at number 4, we have Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which, as you probably remember, collects the first 3 Mass Effect games, but in a much prettier, higher resolution, high frame rate package, with the first game in particular getting a lot of work, a major facelift to it in some places, and some RPG and combat aspects. Really, the win here is it's just a nice, modernized collection of the 3 awesome Mass Effect games. It's one of the best sci-fi trilogies in gaming, if you ask us, and creating your own Commander Shepard, or going with the default and venturing through essentially saving the world from the Reaper onslaught is really cool, and honestly, it's something I think every gamer should experience. Whether you like third-person shooters, or good old-fashioned RPGs, BioWare stuff, or just some straight-up science fiction, Mass Effect got something for everybody. I know that's such a corny phrase, but we mean it. Now's your chance. Go for it. But down to number 3, we got to talk about Valheim. This released early in the year and really blew everybody away. Just when we thought we were tired of like community-based survival games where you run around, you kill enemies, you chop down trees, you farm for resources, and you build a log cabin, Valheim managed to inject some new life and some new creativity into that premise, and it got a lot of people hooked. Not only is it Viking themed, but just the way it deals with progression and the way it actually gives you set objectives to take care of with you and your friends in a server or whatever, just really made it a blast, especially with those graphics. Some people might write it off as looking like an old PS1 game, but when you got this thing running on a high-end machine, you can tell that it is a specific art style meticulously done here, and it can look absolutely gorgeous. It's fun to play, it's really good with friends, and there's probably more to come considering it blew up so much. The developers have a lot to work with now. We're really excited to see what becomes of Valheim in the rest of the year and moving on over to 2022. Now down to number 2, we have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which, if you ask us, is just straight up good old-fashioned video game fun times. It's a linear, single-player, narrative, platform adventure game. You play as Ratchet and Clank, but also newcomer Rivet, who thankfully is not annoying, and you go on a fun, cartoonish, planet-hopping adventure. The game gives you some side objectives and some open areas, but most of the time it just progresses like a linear old game that is just expertly paced and filled with tons of memorable moments, crazy over-the-top action, good boss battles, and satisfying weapons. If you've played a Ratchet and Clank game, that's probably what you want, and that's absolutely what you get here. Not to mention the fact that it looks absolutely insane. The way the worlds load in, the details on the characters, the design, and the detail on just these beautiful sci-fi cities and creatures is really a sight to behold, and we hope everybody gets to check this out at some point if you can get your hands on a PS5, thanks to those damn scalpers and shortages. Now down to number 1, one of our favorite games of the year so far is Resident Evil Village. Once again, Resident Evil goes full wacky, crazy, in a wild adventure where you experience everything from vampire ladies to the classic series staple Chris Redfield. A lot goes down in this game. A lot of fun callbacks and references to other classic horror movies and games. It's fun, it's challenging, it's gorgeous. It's a Resident Evil game, but if you liked 7, this one goes even crazier. As much as I still miss those old classic Resident Evil games, I'm happy we're getting stuff that's as wild as this. And before we go, we got some bonus games to mention too, real quick. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. Technically kind of like a DLC expansion, but worth highlighting because it's good. Also, The Last Spell, as well as Going Medieval. Also, you know what, let me just mention one more, Power Wash Simulator. Yes, I'm gonna mention it. Clean your dirty house, your dirty car, a sidewalk, a city street with pressurized water. It's incredibly satisfying and stupid. But anyway, those are 20 games from 2021 so far that we thought were pretty good. We definitely want to hear your list down in the comments because so many games have already released that everybody's going to have their own list, so let us know. But if you had a good time and maybe we pointed you towards a new game, maybe a recommendation or something like that, clicking the like button is the best way you can help us out, show your appreciation. It's all we need. But if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.